Welcome, Sacramento soccer fans, to the State of the Republic podcast. I'm your host, Luis, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Fridays. I know it's kind of weird to say Fridays, but Fridays, a 2-2 tie against Lexington at Lexington in what was an epic comeback of sorts. Could have been a win. We'll talk about that because there was a very decisive moment there at the end of the game that could have meant 3 points for us, but at least we didn't lose, and at least we saw a really great comeback from the team there to come back from the 2-0 loss and get the tie and at least get a point away at Lexington. We'll also talk about our two upcoming opponents. We're going to be playing against Charleston Battery during the week on Wednesday, and then on Saturday we play against Miami. Both games are at home, so you got two options there. Or hey, why not watch both games there in person if you're able to? We'll also take a look at the standings. How are things looking like for us? How's the potential playoff scenario? Like, are we looking like we might be playing against, a certain team? What teams are we looking like we might be playing against? We'll talk about those. And of course, we'll talk about podcast winner dinner because Jared and I, we got points here. And so anything that happened in these last 2 weeks, regular season, plus a playoff game, and why not? Plus more playoff games. That would be great for us, especially for Jared and I, as we make our own comeback here. Also, want to point out, by the way, y'all, my voice isn't completely there yet. So if you notice my voice breakdown, I've been dealing with a sore throat, which thank God I'm in the end of the sore throat. So that way I can actually record and I don't sound as bad as I did. Was it a few years ago when my voice was completely gone? And watch, just as it said that, my voice was breaking down there, but we're going to chime through and I'll be drinking some liquids here as the podcast goes on. But let's go ahead and introduce our team members here as usual. Let's first go over to the city of Elk Grove with Sharon. How's it going, Sharon?
Hey, it's all going good. Looking forward to talking about the match and the future matches that are coming up, and a little bit about the experience at Sky River, 32 Bruce Street, with members of the tribe and some dignitaries. It was fun. I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, because it's great that they do watch parties there, and I know they're only going to be doing more watch parties as the seasons progress, right? And might even have a dedicated room. Why not? They're doing a lot of construction out there. All right, next let's go over to Natomas with Rian. How's it going, Rian?
Hey, Luis. Happy to be back here and happy to be talking about. Wait, did I hear that correctly? I thought we won 3-2, right? That was the scoreline. That no, did I hear? No, it's a 2-2. Oh, what the heck? I was thinking it was a 3-2. Anyways, yeah, happy to be back here. And Luis, I need to ask: are you going through like second puberty, or are we just?
Right out of the gate, Rian. Right out of the gate.
That just literally came to my head. Yeah, happy to be back here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I dealt with it a few years ago as well, and now here we are, right? I think it's from all the talking that I do with podcasting, and yeah.
So third puberty is what I'm hearing now. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens every so often. Next, let's go over to Texas with Jared. Jared, how's it going, and how's the weather like? I hope it's getting better, right? It should get cold finally anytime, right?
Well, Mother Nature finally decided to give us some sprinkle, as well as a tornado watch that ended about an hour ago. But other than that, also aside from Rian choosing violence this morning, apparently, good God. But no, I mean, everything's going pretty good here. Kind of glad I didn't go to the State Fair Classico because Club America Femenil just handed Dallas Trinity their asses. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about this 2-2 match, especially with the incompetent and blatantly drunk off their asses referees from last night. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that, and then also get into the upcoming final regular season matches, and then hopefully we can focus in the playoffs.
Yeah, lots going on right there in the front, but yeah, I mean, it would be great for us to say 3-2 win. Why not, right? Because if you have BAR, we have an extra 2 points. So case in point, there has to be some sort of variation. I'm not asking for everything because it's way too much.
What shirt? We got to stop. We got to figure out what shirt Rion's wearing.
This is
Oh,
this
yeah.
is just another Bayern Munich Oktoberfest shirt from like a couple years ago.
Okay, so we're playing the Oompa Loompa and, good old beer fest songs and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wait, are we playing Bayern Munich on Wednesday though? Because
I don't have a Charleston or a Miami shirt. Again, if someone wants to sponsor my shirt collection, that'd be great.
I will say Charleston is almost. I mean, they're not in first place, but they're kind of like Bayern too, right? I mean, they're up there in the table next to Louisville City. So yeah, we don't even. It's gonna be a tough match, but at least it's at home.
Before you got on, Rihanna and I were lamenting that the two top scorers are both from Charleston, and it's like, ooh, and they're probably we don't know if they're going to rotate the squad on Wednesday at for Charleston or just play whomever, but yeah, we're kind of hoping. Anyhow, it's not a pretty picture. The two of them combined 31 goals.
Oh.
The two top scorers in the league from Charleston.
All right. Well, make sure that you, I would say the coach, make sure you got that double marking on them. You don't want situation happen like it did with here against Lexington, right? So make sure those guys are marked at all times.
Well, and we're going to talk a little bit about why we're only playing two big center backs. Although when Cody Baker came on, I think we shorted up I think he did really well in the minutes that he got a chance to play. And Rihanna will talk a little bit about that because he won some, for not being a tall guy, he won some aerial duels, which I thought were pretty spectacular. But we're just playing with Lee and Freddie as our two big, tall center backs. So there's things to talk about. But I know you want to get into our regular routine, so I'll shut up.
Actually, let's go ahead and get into gloss of gratitude. So let us know what yours are.
All right. So mine are, I really want to thank the club, the tribe, and Sky River for hosting the watch party on Friday. It actually was a blast. There were a couple little tiny hitches, but we don't care about that because they brought out 5 beer towers. And so we just, if you wanted a beer, you just drank the beer, and we ordered our food. We paid for it. It was just we were treated really, really well. That all the TVs were on in that whole entire patio area. Weather was perfect. It was packed. It was packed. Every seat was taken out on the patio. The staff at the Republic, Michael, Todd was there, and Chris Franklin, the CEO of the tribe, was there, and he's a blast, man. He gets down, and it was really fun. But with Haley and Nick and all of the people that were helping out from the club, getting us sorted out, and we actually got the legacy members and a few others got these really cool blankets. They were black with the it's in the bedroom. My cat has already stolen the blanket. I've only had it 24 hours and it's not mine any longer. But it's a really nice, soft, plushy blanket that we all got just for coming to this watch party. And I just really appreciate everything that they did. And then my whole entire girl gang was there last night. Tina and Chris and Jane and Rosa and Anslin. It was really sweet seeing all them. My sis was there. Dan Tyree was there. It was wonderful seeing him and having him mix in with us. John Crawford was there. Reed was there. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time. Can't thank Sky River enough. Plus, I walked away $114 richer than when
nice.
Yeah, $114. I sat at a couple different penny slots, and then I found this one. I had no idea how it worked. My sister was next to me. She goes, "You're actually winning. This thing is working. You're winning. You got 30. That one gave me $35, and all of a sudden it gave me like another like $85. And the next thing I know, it's like I'll just stop now while I'm ahead because I've already been betting so many." So yeah, thank you, Sky River. And then to everybody else who came out, Tyson, that third goal celebration at Sky River was phenomenal. But then it got called back, and this is after I'd already made a fool out of myself by running around with the Sac Republic flag up and down and running into people and hugging everybody. And then a woman was like, it doesn't count. Pin, bubble, burst. But that's okay. We'll come back on the 22nd. Next, what you got, Jared?
Well, definitely, I want to thank my employer, which unfortunately there was some unfortunate news, but turning out to be fortunate that I am more than likely in the running to get the captain armband again here in Texas. So I know it's a little early in the process, but fingers crossed. And apparently I've got the support of my fellow coworkers in my office, that I'll be making the bump up. So I'll kind of keep tabs on that, obviously. Also want to give a quick lots of gratitude to Whataburger for helping me fuel this week, because it's definitely been a little not stressful, but definitely a week of change as far as that goes. And they've made sure that they've fueled me up. And then also to lots of gratitude to Lone Star Latte, who've helped me out with a free coffee. And I apparently have points for one more, so that they've been kind of helping me get good and whatnot. Also to the club for putting in the effort, although I wish it was when I'm watching the game, but of course I joke. It's just ways to work through the pain. But great effort, at least getting the point there. Those are the biggest ones I've got for right now. What do you have, Jan?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I want to put out there for glosses of gratitude. The Republic season is coming to an end soon. We're like in the final week, and then we have playoffs. But there's a lot of other sports that are going on right now that I just want to give a shout out to. Kings basketball is just around the corner. Next week is opening night. I'm happy to be attending that game. They just had their fan fest, which is fun. Cool to see all the new players: Russell Westbrook, Dennis Schroeder, all the rookies, Maxime Renaud, Nick Clifford, like all the guys like come out and like have a good time. Today, my mom ended up getting like a free t-shirt when like they were throwing t-shirts into the stands, so that was fun. Another one goes out to League of Legends. Worlds is happening right now. It's a fun competition. Some underdogs are making a run at the trophy right now. CFO Flying Oysters just like got a series over like the defending champions, so that's been fun to watch. And also want to shout out to the Seattle Mariners. They're making the playoffs fun because the other half of the bracket with the Dodgers is kind of being dominated by the Dodgers right now. So hopefully the Mariners can get to the World Series for the first time and maybe knock off the Dodgers there. Luis, any golazos?
Yeah. So first one actually goes out to my girlfriend for getting me this like care package of things that could help my my throat as I'm still trying to recover. Really grateful for that, and again, thankfully my throat's doing a lot better to where I could actually basically record a podcast here as much as I'm able to. And then another one goes out to the team for putting in just amazing effort. We're of course going to talk about it here, but it's rough when you're down 2 goals. I mean, I said the same thing last week. We saw what happened. They ended up scoring on us last minute, but this time, I mean, it was different. We were on the other side. We really should have been Hartford in this game where they got their goal, didn't get no offside. But I mean, that doesn't take away from the effort that the team put through. The subs, when they came through, they just energized the team. Rodrigo Lopez, a major shout out. I mean, we know the kind of player he is, but yeah, sometimes you need that like kind of player to like come into a match and help change things. So just major colossal gratitude to them for making every game now like, I mean, it's a thriller at the end, but at least it's nice to see the team like try and get the goals, and it's nice to see it when it happens there. So colossal gratitude to them for getting the point.
Yeah, you know what? I have to echo and I thought about this. I had like this little bout of insomnia, and I reviewed the game in my head. And when Moreau stepped on the pitch, what a game changer. I mean, he was, You could tell he was fired up, number one. And he was fired up to the point where we were not going to lose that ball. He was making like precision passes in the seams and creases. I mean, precision. You don't see that from everybody. And, he wasn't that guy that held the ball too long until somebody stole it, kind of thing. He was just moving the ball to the right places in the right. Man, he really made a difference. I mean, everybody else played lights out. I really appreciated it, and the comeback, like you were saying, the comeback was unreal. And sorry, Jared, that every time you turn the TV off, that meme has traction. Oh my God. That was the best one yet. I died. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw that one. It's like, oh my God, it's so true.
Especially these past 2 weeks. I mean, last week, it seemed to have worked. The fact that we were able to equalize, and then I said, I got to turn on, and apparently a minute or so later, Hartford scores. So I'm pretty much relegating myself to just shutting off the live matches and just have to watch the highlights off social media. I mean, if it means that we get the score and we get to win games the rest of the year, you know what? Fine. I'll just head over to the back porch, get me a fish basket or some chili or something like that. And if it means the team wins. So it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, I guess.
Well, between you and Reed was inside. We were looking around to see who do we get to credit for getting us the first goal back. And Reed was nowhere to be found. It's like, thanks, Reed. So he came, saw that they scored, turned around, and he walked right back out. So that's the meme we're talking about. If you're watching it, I'm dead.
Yeah. And there's, of course, some audio there for people who check it out there. But yeah, I agree with you. It is one of the best that Jared's put out because it was accurate. So yeah, that's a good one. Funny there. But all right, well, let's talk about this match again. The 2-2 tie should have been 3-2, but I mean, for official purposes, we're gonna say 2-2 in this case here. And no, none of us actually predicted 3-2, so I didn't predict it. We're not like salty about that. We're salty because we should have gotten the 3 points. But they start winning 2-0, right? A little different than the Hartford match, right? Because they get their second goal in the second half. It was more later in the second half, which thus makes it more difficult to even get a comeback. But the team managed to like pull it through, get the tie, get a point from a Lexington side that completely dominated the first half, right? When I looked at the possession at the end of the first half, it was something that I don't think I've ever seen Sacramento Republic ever have such a poor possession. I think it was something like 70-something% for Lexington. And we'll look at like Pop Mob here, but yeah, just a crazy number, right? Because it seemed like Lexington had our number. They just pretty much did whatever they wanted, right? They just like, they could have scored more goals if they really wanted to, and maybe like not gotten the tie there, and really let us live for the second half there. But curious to hear your thoughts, Sharon, because you were there at the watch party. You were hearing other people give their commentary. Like, how was everyone feeling in that first half that I know was difficult to watch?
It was difficult to watch. We actually had some of the staff come over, and even Todd came over at halftime, and we were chatting him up. And I mean, you could tell that he and I think Chris Franklin were a little anxious. The look on their face was, but Todd's that kind of guy. I think he knows, he really trusts Neil. And I think he knows that Neil can figure a way to change make a pivot and, make a comeback. And that's exactly what happened. But we were talking. So it's funny because I kept looking back at Dan Tyree because, he also is part of Quail City. And apparently him, Valor, and Ryan, they were all like texting in the background, and they all had some very strong opinions. My opinion of, I really prefer three center backs. And so we're kind of talking about the 2 center back situation a little bit throughout the thing. John Crawford was not at all pleased. I mean, he was Okay, so I think the referee's last name was Schneider. I think that's what his name was. And John Crawford, pretty much every comment was Schneider or whatever the guy's first name was. He was Snyder. Okay, so he was totally like not happy with the officiating from the get-go. And it was evident throughout the match, and it was obviously evident on that third goal that we scored that got called back, that we had a very inept crew out there. Yeah, it was tough the first half to sit with everybody and watch Lexington go up 2-0 and just have to kind of go, well, you know, they took it to us. They had some decent shots. They did what they needed to do, and we didn't have an answer in the first half. We just had nothing. You know, we were missing we were missing some of the, what do you call, net in the first half with whatever we were trying. I don't know, how many corners did we have in the first half? I think we may have had a couple corners in the first half. Yeah, we had three corners in the first half, you know, and it looked kind of promising. But then, yeah, but that's how we were. The first half just didn't feel good. Second half felt a whole lot better towards the end after the subs.
Yeah, it was like two separate games. And then a Seba that misses two opportunities, so which prompted Jared to create a meme at halftime. Seba made Jared work to get a meme at halftime. So Seba, don't make Jared have to work at halftime, because he works on those after the game. So yeah, he got his goal, but just don't miss the chances like that, right? Because thankfully we were able to tie, but come on,
Jared's crying. I think are you crying? Or are you lamenting?
Just rubbing the bridge of my nose, just thinking about how bad it is, not just once, but twice, that it's practically the same opportunity both times. He manages to smack it with enough power, but just too much power, so it just lands on top of the net twice. But thankfully, he had a third opportunity, and that one actually went in. But it's just it's just frustrating to see it back to back and maybe a few minutes separate from each other, or at least that's what it felt like. I mean, that's one thing that kills us, the fact that we have so many opportunities, and even during this game, we had the ball right in front of their goalkeeper. We could punch it in, chip it in, just whatever it is, and we can't seem to get it through. I mean, it's either this keeper just manages to throw a hand up or anything like that. Well, that is when it's not grabbing a handful of jersey of ours. That is.
Oh my God! How many times were they snuggling with our jerseys? I mean, seriously, ugh.
You'd have thought it was a Black Friday sale at Walmart or something like that.
Yeah, fighting over our kit. Get your hands off our kit.
Shit, they need to do like everybody else and order it online.
Yeah, they deliver nationwide. So, I mean, if Lexington, you know, they don't just limit to California.
Yeah. I know Rion's waiting to say something.
Yeah, so you're gonna see this in the match recap, but I thought that first half was one of the most disappointing halves of football, at least in recent memory from the Republic. Like, that was a real flat-footed, disappointing. Like, there was just no energy in the team, and this is not something you want to see 3 games away from postseason. Like, this should be a game that you're kind of building momentum towards. 0 shots at target in the first half. The pass differential in the first half was 322 passes completed for Lexington versus 122 for the Republic. I know Valor Nash has been banging this drum of the Republic does better with less possession, but this felt different where the Republic couldn't even string together a couple passes consistently. Like, they were really stuck in their half for a good chunk of the game. Like, when they were able to break out, they couldn't challenge the goalkeeper, and it just felt like what's happening to the Republic. Great to see him come out in the second half firing with the substitutions. To your point, Sharon, for Rodrigo Lopez, just to demonstrate like what he brought in the second half. In 45 minutes of action, he managed to lead the team in chances created with 3. He was 4th in touches with 58. He was 3rd in passes completed with 47. Like, he was a complete game changer for the Republic, and it's good to see that he was like the catalyst for that change, for that push for more goals. But at the same time, the Republic should not be putting themselves in that position in the first place.
Yeah, and he even ended up having a high pop mop score, right? 7.7. He was tied in second to Seba. So, I mean, yeah, that's impressive to come off the bench and get a pop mop score over 7. You made an impact, so glad that the coach subbed him in when he did, though, right? Right at the beginning. Don't wait any longer. Like, we don't want some late subs. So shout out to the coach for making those subs early on.
So I wonder if that was strategic in a way. Okay, so like I know that we let 2 goals in, but it's like we kind of let Lexington get lulled into us being boring. And so, they kind of thought they had us figured out. And then Neil is like all, okay, hold my beer. I got something for you. You guys are now tired. And let me bring on some guys. Ryan Spalding, he came on. He made a huge difference, right? And then we brought on Cody Baker, who sat back. And now Jack gets to push up. So we got to see the Jack that we love seeing, with him being able to play high and not have to start from, not have to always come back hard for defense. I mean, he can come back and drop into the middle, which is what he does when there is a 3-back line. Anyhow, but what a difference. It's kind of like Coach Neal was like, yeah, we're not done with you yet. You guys, you think you have us figured out. You think you can park the bus on us. No, not today. Not today, Satan. And Snyder, whatever your name is, fool of a referee. Oof.
Yeah, the new Melbourne Rivas for sure. Like Snyder, like we don't want to see you in Sacramento. That's all I'm saying.
Who's the comedian? Who's the comedian with the last? Rob Snyder. It's like, is that who was out there?
We don't need him out there either.
No, I know. I know why. I know.
But yeah. I will say one thing with this game is that we need to learn to stop being reactive and be more proactive, right? Because we can't fall into this trap. Like Rian said, we're like so close to playoffs, and it's worrisome that they're playing like this. They need to come at it with the second half attitude of the last 2 games, but don't just rely on a first half attitude, because you might not be able to react in playoffs, and that'll be it, right? So yeah, just something for the team to take a look at there.
So do we have to review their 2 goals? Are we going to show that on the video? I guess we have to. I'm just going to sit back and cry.
Yeah, I mean, but it ends well, though. Remember, our 2 goals are after. So thankfully, we have some like good goals to review afterwards. So we have to deal with the pain first, but it'll be worth it. So here's the first goal. First of all, happens way too early, right? 4th minute. I mean, I know Jared wasn't even like watching.
I haven't even left the campus yet, and I'm already barely getting over on the pedestrian bridge and getting a notification. 3 minutes, goal, Lexington. Let me at least get home and wallow in this crap.
Yeah, and taking a look at the play there. Yeah, I mean, we saw it happen in the game, right? Like Lexington player ends up taking on Jack and Lewis Jameson, and they didn't get in front of him, right? They let him get right between them and actually like throw the cross. Like you have to tackle the guy, like get to the ball. If it's got to be a free kick, let it be a free kick, but you can't let the guy put a center between two players, right? I don't know why Jack wasn't like. It's like, come on, Jack. I know you could do better. Like you, normally you're not just like looking at the ball there. Normally you actually would have done something else, right?
Like a slide, a tackle of some sort, but neither one of them really got aggressive after that ball. And it could be because the ball handler was extremely skillful. So there could be something there that they didn't want to get turned inside out by his dribbling skills. I'm glad there was they tried to do first defender, second defender. And if you looked at Jack's body, he was trying to drive him to the outside and to the line. But then all of a sudden the player switched feet and Jack had to also switch feet, which then would have driven the player towards Lewis Jamison in the first defender, second defender style. It's just, it didn't work out. Lewis Jamison should have closed tighter. It's kind of like a block in volleyball when, gosh, I'm going to get technical here, but in volleyball, your middle blocker sets the block and the others join to block the hitter. And these two guys, they didn't execute that very well on that one player. They didn't close the gap. When Jack was first defender, Lewis Jamison came in for second defender, and they didn't close him. So you just said that, Luis. Sorry, I didn't mean to repeat you. But then also, how do you let a player get in behind you to score the goal? Where's the swivel head? How do you let a player get that far in behind you? And where's Michel in doing anything to track the player or to let Lee know, the guy's getting in behind you is making a run. So that was a tough one. And normally that's one that Danny could save, but I think he was sighted. I think he was looking straight into the sun, or at least had a little block by the sun. If you look at the angle of the sun, I don't think he could see it. Tell you the truth, the way he put his arms up, it was like he couldn't see it.
Yeah, no, it could have been. But as I look at the replay now, I think maybe also Jack thought that Lewis was going to get to it, right? Because Lewis was right there. Jack was probably like, let me back off and let Lewis take care of it because he was actually close by. And so there needs to be more communication, right? I mean, if Lewis was falling back, because he did fall back right there to try and get to him, he needs to do something. You can't just fall back and just be looking at the guy as he crosses the ball, right? So
I just want to add in, I love that we're talking volleyball. That's super fun. But yeah, Sharon, they should be forming a wall here. There shouldn't be any gap to that, especially if it's just right in front of the guy. Marcus Epps, we're going to talk about him in the second goal, but he had some great play. Lexington came out with a game plan and they knew which matchups they wanted to exploit, and this was one of them right here. Epps versus Gurr. Solid ball in to Corey Burke. But yeah, it's a one-on-one for some reason in the box where's the other defenders? Corey Burke's the only one making that run. He should be called out. He should be noticed by somebody. And the fact that he had almost a free run onto that ball was something else. And this should have been a wake-up call to the Republic that Lexington were going to come out firing, and they were going to come out for this win. And, they should have taken notice.
Yeah, they came out like a pack of racehorses. Kentucky, they wanted to own the track, and they did own it in the first half.
Yeah, and plus they were also trying to clinch playoffs too, right?
True.
Well, we kind of missed that for them right there, but we mentioned it here, right? This is a team that wasn't in playoffs yet. They were going to try and clinch playoffs. That's why they were playing the way they were, right? They were trying to, for the first time in history, by the way, because they're 2 seasons in League One, they didn't qualify for playoffs. So they were really pushing for that, and they might still, get playoffs, but, that's how that went.
So I got to say one thing. The stands were not anywhere near full. If this was Sacramento and you're pushing for playoffs on a Saturday night, or even, it's Friday at 6 p.m., those stands should
high school football, and it's deep in Kentucky, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Another reason why they should not have played on a Friday then. I mean, unless there's something else or they're using the venue or what, but it's come on. Play on a
So
Saturday too.
That's the
Um,
first goal. We got to look at the second goal here. This
Yeah.
one was sad.
Yeah. So second half, we talked about Seba's misses. Seba had a real clear chance at the end of the first half. Could have been a last minute tie for the first half, just like against Hartford, which would have changed the game so much different there. But moving on to the second half, they get their goal in I believe it's the 64th minute, if I'm not mistaken. There, Rian, as you cycle through there. Um, yeah, so 64th minute is when that ends up happening, and man, this might end up being goal of the week, right? Hate to say it, but I mean it was just a epic shot by Epps, right? Who's the one who ended up taking on Jack and Lewis Jameson, and he had Jack's number. I mean, he pretty much just like ran past Jack on a lot of the plays, and he ends up getting a goal here. And I gotta say, for them, it was a really good goal, right? I mean, there's a lot of passes back and forth. They spot Epps open. Epps just happens to like move the ball around, get to the shot. Unfortunately, again, Jack wasn't able to get to Epps during most of the game, and yeah, I mean, he pulls a wonder shot, and I'm just saying it now. It's probably going to be goal of the week, unless there's some other crazy goal out there that I haven't seen yet. This is probably going to be goal of the week, sadly.
I agree. It was a fantastic goal. We didn't mark him the way he needed to be marked. We should have slipped. Now, I can't say we should have tackled him because that could have involved a penalty kick, but still, more should have been done to defend. We just didn't. And we kind of talked at the table. Was that a Jack thing? Because we watched the replay a couple times. They showed it, and we're all looking at each other. Was that a Jack? Was that on Jack? I mean, we love Jack. We love Jack. But was that a Jack thing? Or was that he didn't get a second defender with him because he was by himself trying to defend? And then Portillo shows up a little bit later, but it's the same thing that happened when Lewis Jameson showed up with Jack. Same thing. Same thing. It's kind of tough to swallow. They're going to be reviewing that. Our squad is going to be looking at that and looking at how they can better close down on the defending aspects, especially in dangerous spots like that.
Just want to say this goal came completely against the run of play. Like Sacramento were shooting were having a good amount of chances like in this lead up. And this was just Lexington's first chance in the second half. And for it to be that brilliant of a strike says something else to what Lexington can do when they're given their chances. But Marcus Epps take a bow, like that was an amazing strike. Like I can't say anything bad against this one.
Yeah. Amazing strike. Now, some of you, if you're watching this, you're seeing lights going off and on and off and on. And how come we can't do that at Heart Health Park? It's the nature of the bulb of the light. We talked about this, I think, in another podcast, that if you use LED lights, you can turn them off and on and off and on. But if you're using the old standard halogen, once you turn those lights off, you got to let them cool all the way down. They won't fire back up. You got to wait. So until we switch out to LEDs at Heart Health or wherever, we won't be able to do the thing like all these other clubs are doing where they can turn the lights off and on and off and on right when things happen to make it exciting and feel spectacular. No, we can't do that.
Well, I hope with the new stadium,
Yes,
they do that.
they better use LED. It's much more energy efficient than the old halogen or whatever the bulbs are that they were using. I don't know. I'm making it up because halogen is a real typical one that they used to use in stadium lights. Okay, I'm going to go look it up. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Yeah. Jared, you were able to see this one. I know you didn't see the other one, but unfortunately.
Yeah, that thing was on a string. I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, it was just, perfectly placed, top shelf corner out of Danny's reach. So there really wasn't a whole lot to be done as far as that goes. I mean, we definitely could have put more pressure on Epps, but eventually he gets loose, and just knows where to target it at, and it went in.
Yeah, difficult. I mean, happens in the 64th minute, so yeah, it's a little rough, right? Especially when you're down 2 goals, and especially as Rian said, yeah, we were being the better team. We had more opportunities, and it just hits you like even much more harder, right? When you're like, well, we were gonna tie at any moment, and yeah, now we're down 2. But thankfully, I will say it's great that the team didn't fall back, because it's so easy to just fall back and not be able to do anything there. So let's go ahead and move on to this next goal that we scored, the 2-1. 85th minute starts off with Jack giving a pass to Roro. Roro spotting Corey Bennett open. Corey returning to Roro. Roro putting the cross over to a Christian Parano, who at the moment was telling Seba, this is how you header and score a goal, right? Getting the goal there.
Dude,
yeah, it's funny, but he got the goal.
We could not stop talking about short guys. The short guys got it done. The short guys. We were like, because Ro's not as very tall and Chris is short. And we could not. That whole conversation about this goal was like, oh, it took the 2 short guys on the team to score the goal. We were dying. You know, Seba had chance after chance after chance. And Chris, just like you said, Chris is like, hold my beer. That's my second reference to hold my beer. Coach Collins said it first. Chris said it second. Although Chris would probably be like, hold my wine.
Or my mate. My mate too, right?
Huh?
I'm like, hold my mate, right? The
mate, yeah.
Is popular in South America.
Yes.
Either that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say either that, or maybe Cristiani had a little change in his playlist. Listen to little Montel Jordan said, "This is how you do it" with that header. So I don't know. Maybe that could have been it.
This is how you do it. Yeah.
But
By
yeah,
the way,
that's what he did. That's what
metal halide lights have been replaced by LEDs, light emitting diodes, and so yeah.
Also, just want to give props to Roro for serving up that cross on a platter for Christian Parano in between 2 of Lexington's defenders. Great setup from him.
Oh yeah, and he was trying to set up other plays too, right? I mean, like we mentioned, Roro like just got into the match. He tried to change the gameplay, and they were trying to do this right for like a lot of the second half, and it finally worked, right? To go back and forth, like get your passes, and then we know once our players can actually put together a few passes, that's when we get goals, right? That's why things weren't as great in the first half, because those passes were not being great, so yeah. So that was the 2-1. All was great, right? I mean, we still had plenty of time to get the tying goal, and then we move on. Extra time, 6 minutes of extra time. 94th minute is when we end up getting the tying goal, and finally, after it took him the whole match, but thankfully before the referee blew the whistle, Seba was like, hold up, I remember how you headed a ball, right? Gets the goal. We all go like nuts because we get the tying goal, and you look at the clock and you're like, hey, why not keep going, right? And which we did, but we'll talk about that right now. But in this goal, Jack putting the assist to a Seba who was ready to header the ball. Jack gets another assist there, and Seba headers the ball, and in really an uncomfortable position, right? Because he was between 2 other Lexington players and still manages to like just barely get to the ball, but just enough to put it to where the goalkeeper could never get it. In fact, the goalkeeper even slips, and yeah, wasn't as lucky in this one, because that goalkeeper, I will say, he did actually have some saves before this goal, right? So
I'm wondering what that one defender was waving his arms about, and he, like something wasn't fair. I mean, I don't care because we got the goal. We were able to get that wonderful goal. Thank you, Jack, for that beautiful cross. That's what he's notorious for. But I have no idea. Did it hit some body part of somebody? Rian, did you see why that one player is all like flipping out?
He's probably complaining about Herrera like pushing him down by the shoulders
on
his way up. That's my best guess.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and that's typical Herrera. I mean, Seba's going to always try to get the advantage. So this guy gets paid to do what he just did. He gets paid to be amongst a crowd and burst through and do these things, whether he scores with his head, with his foot, it doesn't matter. He's the guy that is being paid to have guys leaning on him or to lean on guys, because let's face it, he's gotten yellow cards for leaning on guys before. So this is his forte. That's why we have him, is, to be kind of a bit of a brute in the box. And he did his job. Love it.
Like I said, third time is a charm, and he got it when we needed it. Would have been nice to have it the other two so we could solidify the 3 points. But you know what? I'll take this. I'll take this any day. But gotta work on the header shots. I mean, if there's any way to fine tune that accuracy, great. But this opportunity, presented itself amazingly. So at least we got a point rather than taking home more donuts. I mean, if we wanted donuts, we'll go up to Marie's Donuts on Freeport.
Or JR's Donut right around the corner from me. And mind you, it's just JR's Donut. So once the donut is gone, there's no more.
Mm.
They forgot the S. So it's JR's Donut.
No.
Anyhow, I digress.
I want to also add in a little bit of redemption for Jack Gerd. He was the primary defender on the 2 Lexington goals, but he set up this one and Herrera getting his headed goal that Jared mentioned earlier. Just all around great vibes.
It's awesome. Yeah. Love seeing the coach being that celebratory as well. Well, that whole Sky River 32 Bruce Street was electric after this goal. Because we felt what coach was feeling like. It's like, oh my God, my team did it. My squad did it. They pulled it off. And you could just tell he was proud. Now, was this goal, did Martin get bounced before or after this goal, Rion?
I want to say it was before.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't remember, actually, now I'm thinking about it.
I think it may have been after. Maybe he, I mean.
It might have been after, yeah.
I'm assuming just because of what happened,
Was it because of the goal that we should have scored that got called back and Martin was the one that got chirpy?
I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, I mean, just
I'm gonna see if they have it. If they have it on the timeline, I'm looking right now.
Yeah, but which if so, then great on Martin. We would have all been Martin in that situation because we legally got robbed a legitimate goal that should have happened, and then they get a free kick, which would have been so worse. You're in the situation, but yeah, I mean, we're looking at it here on the replay. Even the commentator said it right, like no idea what the referee saw. There was no offside. I don't understand. It was clear as day. I don't know how they can call this offside. And we've seen really bad USL refereeing, but I just don't understand what happened here. It's like they didn't want the people who attended this match to leave even more angrier at the fact that they lost the 2 points. They didn't want them losing all 3 points. It just doesn't make sense, right? Because
so they don't say when Martin on FOTMOB, they don't talk about when Martin got bounced. But I think they should appeal it if it was due to him chirping because of the goal that we should have been awarded that wasn't offside. So I think we should, because rightfully so, he would not have acted that way had the goal been allowed, which it should have been. So I don't know.
Only thing I gotta say to this referee, and I'm not sure which official it was that called it offside. I hope a lab tech accidentally drops a bag of Pop Rocks in the middle of your colonoscopy exam. That's all I gotta say about that.
Damn.
That's brutal.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, mother effer.
Oh my God. That is brutal. Brutal.
One thing
And
that's
it could end
weird.
up being a critical 2 points, I'm just saying when we look at the end of the season and who gets to host, all that scenario, not just on the Western Conference, but you make it to the final, it could end up being a critical
Yeah.
mistake. So
So,
that's
Rion, you were getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's weird that the USL highlights have this as an offside on Kleeman for some reason. I have no idea where Kleeman would be offside on, but I thought the player was in question was Bennett. But I don't
Yeah.
know. That's a bit weird from the USL.
That is
Yeah.
weird. Maybe they switched it to protect the innocent kind of a thing.
Either that or they're dialing in the highlights again from the gentlemen's club next door to the league offices again. It could be that.
There was no offside by anybody. I mean, that's just
Exactly.
weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes no sense. Yeah, I think there's been other more questionable offsides that don't get called, and all of a sudden here they just decide to do that. And
So I got to tell you, after we all departed after the game, and a lot of us went and did some gaming for about an hour. Obviously, Todd and others stayed back and chatted amongst themselves. I don't know if Sergio Robles was still there. That's the council member that I, ran into just like that on the third goal that was disallowed. And so we bumped into Todd. And this was after I'd already won my $114, right? And he sees my sis and I and my bro-in-law, and he asks us, he goes, "So, any luck?" And we're like, "Oh yeah." But then he goes, "Hang on, I got to show you this." He pulls his phone up and he goes, "That offside call," because we started talking soccer, of course. You get Todd and you have to talk soccer. I mean, 5 championship rings, whatever. Love you, Todd. So he pulls his phone up and he goes, "Let me show you in slow motion." And he broke down the Corey Bennett, the whole situation. We watched it over and over and over with Todd. And it was like, it wasn't like this. It was almost an out of body feeling to sit there and have our GM go, there was no offside. And I know that Neil is letting the players know that we are marked. This has been what has happened. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say exactly this is what I picked up. That we have been the club that the referees have never given us grace in any of the matches, that we are always playing against a preconceived notion that we can handle it. And we get these unfair calls all season long. And so they've actually talked as a club about, this is just what you got to go expect. Now, remember when Lee Desmond said, when you're a good team, when you're a good club, you're going to play a lot of games and you're going to run into adversarial situations, but that's just what happens to good clubs. And, we were in playoffs, we were in this and the cup, and we had more games than anybody else because we did better. So it was kind of confirming and validating to just hear Todd say, we just have to get used to it. This is just what's going to happen. Pretty cool. But to sit there and watch him on his phone, the replay over and over and over, it was like, how do you feel? I mean, like, how does that make you feel, Todd, as a former player, as a coach, as a GM? And he goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, I'm pissed. I don't like it. But it's just the reality of, I mean, he didn't say those exact words, but you could tell, it's just, it didn't feel fair.
Yeah, we have to come to the realization that so many clubs, especially after our matches against FC Tulsa earlier in the season, that they have found the golden nugget meal ticket of diving against us at a moment's notice, repeatedly, horribly, and that's what gets the calls against us. Whereas if we get assaulted in the goal mouth like we did, like it was Stockton and Fruit Ridge, play on, no penalty, no es penal.
You just
go about your business.
Stockton and Fruit Ridge. I totally know that, but I would also say 47th and 47th. 47th and 47th, dude. That's another one.
Believe me, that's my neighborhood. 95824 ever.
Oh my gosh. So okay, I'm just looking at the scores. Indy 11 beat Loudon. FC Tulsa did not win. Thank you very much. El Paso.
No, but the good thing is El Paso didn't win. They were up for a good majority of that match. So
Yeah.
that keeps El Paso off our heels.
Yes, exactly. And
Okay. Well,
all right.
that's good there. All right. Well, let's take a look at the standings, and there's still some games going on right now as we speak. Jared might be happy that Phoenix is beating Uncle Ruckus there, which is, always great. Leaving Uncle Ruckus a potential of, watch this, actually be able to get like taken out of playoffs in the last game. So it's going to be a little tricky situation in the playoffs, right? Who gets in? Lexington is out right now, by the way. Thanks to us right now, they are out. But
Good.
yeah, anything can happen. It's so chaotic. We have to actually thank our club for not being in this situation now, because you got, what is it? So you got Lexington with 36 and 9th, Orange County with 36 and 8th. Of course, they have a game going on right now too. They're 0-0, but they're playing Louisville City, so we'll see how long that lasts. But you got Colorado with 37 and 7th. Uncle Ruckus in 6th place right now. They're losing, but that could change, of course, too right now. 37 points, and you got Phoenix. They're winning right now against Uncle Ruckus, 39 points and 5th. But man, if this holds like still and these scores are there, right? The 1-0 loss of Uncle Ruckus and Orange County 0-0. That last game could take anyone out, right? I don't know Phoenix and Lexington what their tiebreaker is there, but I mean, Phoenix could be dropped down. They're winning right now. Uncle Ruckus could be dropped down from 6th all the way to 9th place. Anything can happen because they're just 3 points away. Like it's going to be a really interesting end of the season for them there. But when we look at our side of the table there, the top side of the table there, the top 5, you got FC Tulsa, 54 points, 29 games played. I mean, they already guaranteed first place. We talked about it last week. We're in second, 28 games played, 45 points. So we need one more game to catch up to pretty much most of the teams here. But you got New Mexico, though, also has 28 games played, same games as we do, 44 points. And then below them, you got El Paso, 4th place, 41 points, 29 games played. So they can't get above us. So pretty much we can guarantee a top 3 finish right now and there, which is really great that we have that. And then Phoenix Rising, we said they're winning. They can only get up to 4th place if their win holds like true there. So so pretty much right now it'll be second, third in the season. We should get the win, so that way we don't hope that New Mexico doesn't get a win. But again, remember, we actually have the tiebreaker against New Mexico. But again, they're just 1 point away, so maybe the tiebreaker won't be a thing, but we need to make sure we get the points. Hope that New Mexico drops some points so that way we guarantee a second place finish there. But as it stands right now, though, and looking at a potential playoff opponent, I mean, pretty much the teams that I mentioned earlier, right? Phoenix, Uncle Ruckus, Colorado, Orange County, or Lexington. One of those teams that I just mentioned will be our playoffs opponent. So, I mean, not easy squads, right? They're in the position they're in right now, but come playoff time, all these teams, except of course Lexington, they got experience playing playoffs, right? They know how to play those playoff games. So, yeah, we'll see how things go there, but yeah. We'll see where we end up second, third, but we won't know our opponent until the last game of the season. So until Saturday night, we'll find out who our opponent is, because that's just how the end of the season is. We mentioned it the whole season. Western Conference, they're only a few points away, and sure enough, this is how the Western Conference is going to end towards the last game of the season. So
I just want to add in a little bit here for New Mexico. For those keeping track, New Mexico will be playing Oakland on Sunday, so I'm expecting them to win there, and then they're going to be hosting Rhode Island on the final day. So I'm expecting them to pick up all 6 points from their final 2 matches. Honestly, it's just a matter of Sacramento, can we get a result against Charleston or not? Because we have Miami, which is going to be a cupcake, which should be a cupcake.
Oh yeah, should be, right? Because you never know. You never know now here. I will say we're going to be rooting for Oakland, though, right? Go Oakland. I know you guys don't have much to play for, but hey, why not give us a hand, Oakland? Like, we would be supporting you if you were in our position and it was reversed, right? But
It's not like Oakland's playing for anything anyhow, like you said. But yeah, it would be nice for them to play the occasional spoiler, especially against New Mexico. But Miami, as low as they are in the standings, once again, we cannot fall victim to the trap game. I mean, Miami, they did excellent for like the first 1/4 of the season, and then they started dropping down. But we cannot let them just play spoiler, especially at home. The last regular season game of the match. I know they have Jonathan Ricketts, and of course, it's a joy watching him play. I just wish he was healthy enough to do some more damage for us. But this is gonna be a game that we have to just put foot on throat. I don't care if it's Miami or anything like that, because Charleston, I don't like our chances against Charleston. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I really don't like how we're going to go in Charleston, and I'm sure it's going to reflect that on the podcast Chicken Winter Dinner when we get up to it here shortly.
Dude, I was just going to say that you read my mail.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult, right? Charleston Battery, again, sitting second in the Eastern Conference, second overall as well. 18 games won, 5 ties, 5 losses only. Yeah, and goals scored, 60 goals scored. I mean, you talked about it earlier, Sharon, they're 2 goal scorers. Well, they have a total of 60 goals scored in total, right, amongst the team. And that's the highest in the league. So our defense is going to have to be on point, because these players know how to score goals, and they're not going to be missing those goals if they get that opportunity.
Yeah, I would like to see Cody Baker try to make a pair. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't watched Charleston enough to know how their tactics work in the front and the midfield. But I have a feeling, I don't know that we're going to be able to get it done with just Freddie and Lee surrounded by Michelle and Jack. I think we're going to need, Cody Baker, or I don't know that Chibi. I don't know where he's at with Chibi. I don't know where Coach is at with Chibi at this point. But yeah, this is, and where we're talking, do we play a rotated squad? Does Charleston play a rotated squad? I think we're going to talk a little bit more when we get into ruminating on podcast Winter Dinner, because Rion has all the AI has all the information right now.
Yeah. So what's Charleston's recent form? Today they actually tied 1-1 against Detroit. They beat Colorado Springs 5-0. What a score there. They tied against Orange County 2-2. So, hey, that is a thing. Although they did have a red card, so maybe the result could have been different for them had they not had that. And then they beat El Paso at El Paso 2-0. They tied against Oakland 3-3, which we know Oakland hasn't been having that great of a season. So there's that. And that was at Charleston. And then they beat Indy 11 2-1. So, yeah, I mean, they've had pretty good scores. The last time they lost was against Rhode Island, 1-0 at Rhode Island back in August. So, yeah. So that's that. And again, that game is on Wednesday. That game was moved. Originally, it was going to be on October 5th. So that's the whole reason why, get into this like last game of the season. There's 2 games. So that was the reason why we had a game in hand for a part of the month here.
I need a +1 or a +2 for that match. My sister's not going to be around, I don't think. Well, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that match. Go check it out. I know it's one of those matches where maybe people might be like, oh, it's against the second place team, but hey, we need to be louder than ever, because they're going to need the support. They're going to need the support throughout the game. And then we look at our opponent for Saturday, Miami. What's the reason for them like? Well, hey, they might have been in last, but on October 11th, actually not yesterday. Actually, it seems like they didn't play this weekend here. Or actually, they play tomorrow. Never mind. They play against Birmingham tomorrow. But they actually beat Miami FC. Or sorry, what am I saying? They actually lost against Louisville City 1-0 at Louisville City, which I know it's a loss, but to lose against Louisville City 1-0 at Louisville, I mean, that takes something else. And then before that, they actually beat Pittsburgh Riverhounds 3-1. Granted, maybe hasn't been the strongest Pittsburgh, but still, they beat them there. And then they lost 1-0 against North Carolina and 1-0 against Rhode Island. So you never know with this team. I know Rian called them a cupcake earlier, but I mean, they only lost 1-0 against Louisville City at Louisville. So I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if I would be too confident. Hopefully I'm wrong, because it would be great for them to get a goal fest before playoffs. But yeah, you never know.
Oh my God, you're losing your voice. We got to wrap this up, dude.
Yeah, I just realized
As
that.
Leon said, you're in your third puberty, and now we're hearing fourth.
Yeah, it sounds like that. All right. Well, and I'm surprised you wanted to like get to this, Sharon.
Why
Well,
not?
we
Because
already
I got
anything
some. I got some picks. I don't care about you guys getting into points, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
no
let's
big
talk
deal.
about. Yeah, let's talk about podcast winner dinner. How things went against Lexington. Well, me and Jared got a point thanks to the player scoring a goal and taking his jersey off. Something you don't normally see, especially so early on in the game, right? In the 4th minute, he scores the goal, takes the jersey off, but it was to actually celebrate his mom's birthday. So shout out to the player who scored the goal to his mom, because thanks to his mom, Jared and me got a point. So thank you, because we really wanted that point, especially since we have 2 more games. And me and Jared, if we can get points from yellow cards, we will take it, because that could be the road to victory in this competition, right?
Maybe.
I mean, it could be. So we both got a point. So standings are as follows: Jaren's still in first place, 36 points. Rian, 35 in second. I'm in third with 32 points, and Jared is there in the basement still, but 31 points. So, just a 5-point differential from Sharon. Jared is just 5 points. And remember the bonus point. there's that. So, yeah, that's where it comes into play there. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and give our predictions. We got 2 games to predict. Charleston, Miami. Let's start first with you, Sharon, and then we'll start with Rian for Miami.
Sure. Charleston Battery, I think we're going to have a rotated squad, but I still think we're going to eke out a goal, and so are they. So I have it as a 1-1 tie. And I think Corey's going to get the start, so he's going to be my goal scorer with Seba as the backup in case Corey doesn't see the pitch. And my assist is going to go as follows. I think Roro's going to probably start the game. If not, if he doesn't play, then I have Chris Perano as my backup for my assist. And yellow, I have it with Sack. And if Nick plays, he's going to get the yellow. I don't know. I just have Nick in there as getting the yellow.
Okay. Yeah, like I alluded to earlier, this is not going to be a pretty match. And I'm hoping I'm wrong on this, but I'm seeing Charleston shut us out 2-0. If we do somehow get a goal, I am going to go with Christian. If he doesn't see the pitch, then I am going to go with Dominic. For assist, I am going to go with Blake Willie. And as a backup, I'm going to go with Nick Ross. I am going to say, for some reason, Charleston gets the first yellow. But as far as who gets our first yellow, I am gonna say Ryan for some reason gets it.
All right. For mine, I'm actually gonna go with. Unfortunately, prove me wrong.
It's Ryan Spalding, right? Ryan Spalding.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because JJ, I don't think we're gonna see much of him.
All right, good clarification there. All right, well, for mine, I side with Jared because, yeah, I just feel like this is a really strong Charleston Battery team, and yeah, we might have a rotated squad for this one, really, just because of all the games that the guys have been playing. But I see Charleston actually winning 2-1. For our goal scorer, I'm gonna go with Seba. I feel like he might get the goal there, and if he doesn't see the pitch, then I'm gonna go with Roro. For the first assist, I'll go with Nick, and if he doesn't see the pitch, then I'll go with Ryan Spalding. And then for the first yellow card, I'm gonna go with Zach. For the player to get the yellow card, I'm gonna go with Michelle. Ria.
Is he muted?
I think he's muted. Yeah. Oh, first time Rian's muted. Oh.
Thanks for
Yeah,
that
muted.
catch. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
He was deep in thought.
Yeah. So I'm gonna rattle off some numbers here. So for Charleston, Kyle Jennings and Matt Myers leads the league in goals with 16 and 15 apiece. Assists, Juan Torres leads the league with 10 assists. Shots, Juan Torres and Kyle Jennings are on 63 shots apiece, tied for second in the league, and chances created Juan Torres with 61 chances, good for second in the league. All this to say, this is probably the most potent attack in the league that Republic will have to face. I'm going to say Charleston with a 2-1 win. For my goal scorer, I'm going to go with Lewis Jameson as my first, with Seba as my backup. For assist, I'm going to go with Jack as my first and Roro as my backup. I'm going to go with sack yellow card, and then I'm going to go with Freddie to draw it.
It's been a while since we've said Freddie, I think, right?
It has been, yeah. Yeah, he's he might be overdue a card. We'll see. But well, that's good. It seems like we all have a few different different predictions, so should be interesting. All right, now Rian, we start with you for Miami.
Yeah. Okay. So Miami, those two people that are second in shots for Charleston, they're behind Francisco Bonfiglio for Miami with 64 shots in the league. I don't think they have the same kind of offense. I don't think they have the same kind of defense that Charleston has. They don't really have much to play for besides, just throwing a wrench into our plans for the postseason. I'm going with a Sacramento 2-0 here. For goal scorer, I'm gonna go with. Man, I really wish we know what's happening with Cicerone. I have no idea. I would want to put him in here, but
I did. I went ahead and put him in as. You don't know this yet, but I'm going to.
For my first, who would play on that night? I'm gonna go with Christian as my first, and Corey as my backup. For first assist, I'm gonna go with. Jack as my first again, and Christian as my second. Let me look at the yellow cards real quick. Miami draws a lot of yellow cards. I'm gonna go with Miami as first yellow card, and for us, I'm gonna go with Michelle as my.
All right. Well, for my score, I'm gonna actually, given that they actually just beat Louisville, or Louisville City just beat them 1-0. I'm actually gonna also say we only beat them 1-0, even being the last place team. For the goal scorer, I'm actually gonna go with we're gonna actually go with Corey. If he doesn't see the pitch, then I will go with I'll go with Seba. And then for the first assist, I'm gonna go with Jack. And then if he doesn't see the pitch, I'll go with Nick. And then for the first yellow card, I'm gonna go with Zach. And then for the player to get the card, I am gonna go with Freddie. Jared.
Well, if I'm going to go wrong, I'm going to go wrong big. I'm going to say Republic FC ends up winning 3-1 against Miami. For goal scoring, I am going to say Roro. If he doesn't see the pitch, then I am going to go with Corey Bennett. Assist, I am going to go with Jack Gurr. And for backup, I'm going to go with Christian. For first yellow, I know the refs are going to try to help Miami, so I'm going to say Sac gets the first yellow. And our first yellow is more than likely, you know what, the last regular season game of the year. I'll go Freddie.
Alrighty, so I actually think we're going to win, but I have a feeling Miami's going to score. I don't know. So I have us at 2-1, but I like Rion's prediction better, 2-0, because when I did a prediction of 2-0, we actually did it. And that was like 4 games ago or 3 games ago. Remember that? You guys remember that? Me predicting the score and then gloating like crazy? Okay, I'll leave it there. And then for my goal scorer, I'm hoping Russell's back. So I'm going to just go ahead with Russell. Of course, no, because if he's back, he's not going to play a full 90 because he hasn't been playing. So that means he's not going to start, which means I got to write a song about it. I'm sorry. I'm getting off track. I'm still going to go with Russell, and my backup is going to be Dom because I think he's still running a little bit of a hot hand. My assist, just like everybody else, fall in line, Jack, and my backup is Rowe. My yellow is Sac, and I think Christian is going to draw the foul, although it's more likely it's going to be Seba or Freddie or somebody like that, but whatever. It's just, mix it up.
Well, me and Jared are hoping it's Freddie, and it's Freddie getting that first yellow card.
Right.
That would be 2 solid points.
Yeah, we'll see how it rolls.
So, Freddie, if you got to do a tackle early in the match against Miami, just go for it and get a tackle and get a yellow. Make sure you're the first one, though. Make sure
And
you're the first one.
And Freddie, I've been defending you. This is your time. This is your time to do whatever you want. So just have at it. Get a penalty.
No,
this
Freddie.
is your chance to redeem it.
No, Freddie. Remember, you like the female podcaster. You like her a lot. So lay off the yellow cards. And Chris, yeah, yo hablo español. Por favor, amarillo.
Cristian, no es falta.
Sí. Oh, Cristian, haz la falta después de Freddie. Después.
You know what? Just gonna say, Michelle, just do whatever you want. No pressure on you. Just do your thing.
Yeah, he wants Michelle to go in on a 2-footed slide up tackle and get the red. What if it's a red card? That's not a yellow, beyond.
Yeah, if it's a straight red, what happens then?
Yeah,
That's not a yellow, technically, right? I mean,
don't do it so hard, Michelle, please.
It's not full digital undergrounds. Not quite do what you like, but do kind of what you like within reason.
Be responsible.
No 2-footer, no studs up.
Yeah. Be responsible about the foul. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how things go. I mean, this is a really heated podcast winner dinner because we're like the conference playoffs. You don't know who's gonna play against who because it could be anyone against anyone because all the teams are all over the place and
right.
The table there.
Rick, if you can draw a yellow card first, that'd be great too. That'd be amazing for me.
Oh my God, you're not rooting for Ricketts to get a yellow card first. He likes me. I know him. I can text him right now and just say, whatever you do, no yellow. No yellows for Miami at first.
Or Ricketts, if you can just tell everyone else on your team to get a yellow, that'd be great too.
Oh, this is.
We'll see what happens. Well, it'll be if Freddie grants us that wish to me and Jared, we'll replay the segment on the next podcast. So.
Okay, so I got to show you guys a picture go back to before final parting words. Go back to the big screen because I'm going to show you guys a picture from 1977. You guys ready for this? Okay. That's me holding a king salmon.
Oh wow!
Jeez, that's a big one.
1977.
Jeez.
Oh,
that's when I worked on boats, fishing ships. Okay, I just had to do that. Back to all 4 Hollywood squares and the weirdos.
Yeah.
Leon,
All right, y'all.
you've got to have more stats for us in the final parting words. There's more. You've got to have more up your sleeve, dude. Give us a tip as to what's going to be on trivia night. Not trivia
Ooh.
night. Well, whatever you call it.
Trivia Tuesday.
Trivia Tuesday, and any more, what you're going to be writing up the post game, the notes, and also coach. What did the coach say? Rian, we haven't heard enough from you. You're
I
the
actually
favorite.
don't know what the coach said because the team didn't put up the quote sheet, so I have no idea.
There's no quote sheet. No.
No quote sheet.
Oh no.
All rats. Well, I know Neil was not happy about that call. And I have a feeling there's going to be a letter to the league, not by Neil, but, by somebody maybe higher than him.
Kind of putting me on the spot a little bit.
Should nominate you,
Yeah, this is a good attacking performance from the Rip. I'm just making this up as I go. But yeah, it seems actually the Republic are on an upward trend again with their shooting and stuff. So that's good to see before playoffs happen. We're putting more shots on the net, so that's something. It's Saturday as we're recording this, so I don't really have Trivia Tuesday on my mind at the moment. But I'm sure I'm going to be putting some questions up about that.
Right. Fair enough. So yeah, for everybody, study FOTMOB, you have 3 days to study. You're good Sunday, Monday, and part of Tuesday. You can do your studying, to make sure you get the answers right. But don't look at the Facebook story. I'm going to give you guys a clue. If you look at Facebook stories, our State of the Republic podcast, the answers somehow go there.
Yeah, I don't know why.
The questions don't. You can deselect it. But anyhow, so don't go straight to Instagram on Tuesday. Do not look. Yeah, we'll figure a way to deal with that. But it's like, oh no, the answers. Quick, shut off Facebook. Go to Instagram, and then I get to play fair. Otherwise, I cheat. Final parting words. Go Sac, and to Sky River and the tribe. If you decide that you are going to do watch parties at 32 Bruce Street, we're all in, especially if there's more treats and more things and beer towers that you just, put your beer and you drink, and not that you have to drink. I mean, whatever, but do it. It was wonderful. And thank you everybody for listening and watching and, tuning in to this. Send us messages. We love it. Thank you, everybody.
All right. And I am just, at this point, very thankful I did not make the trip to Dallas for the State Fair Classico. One, because it was raining throughout North and East Texas. But two, Dallas Trinity got smoked by Club America Femenil 3-1. Club America are the first team to hoist the State Fair Classico trophy, which is a Ferris wheel designed to mimic the patterns of a soccer ball. So, yeah, I'm glad I skipped that. Also, thank you. A big lots of gratitude to the Montreal Alouettes, who are giving me any kind of football hope as far as Americanized football in the CFL, because Lord knows the Jets ain't going to be doing it anytime soon. So, see, I already beat you to the punch, Scott Bradford. You can't touch my Montreal Alouettes. And go Republic.
As for me, again, there's 2 games left in the regular season, Wednesday, Saturday. I know Wednesday games are a bit tough for people to attend, but if you can, go attend Wednesday game as well. Be there, be loud. Let's support the team in both games as usual, but we know we need those points. We know we want to keep that second place, and not just that, but just keep being higher up in the overall standings when it comes to all of USL for final venue purposes, if we get to that point there. But yeah, so critical points. Let's get the points. Let's get second place, and look forward to a playoff that will be happening the following weekend there as well. But with that, y'all, as usual, check out the website, sacsoccerpod.com. Read Rian's blog post on there. Leave us a voicemail. Review the podcast. Contact us. Leave us your thoughts on this end of the season, or your thoughts. If you just want to get mad at the Rev, I mean, go ahead and write about that as well. Anything that goes on in these 2 games, We want to hear your thoughts headed into playoffs. Like, what are you feeling like? How's everything like for you and all that? So give us your thoughts on the 2 games next week if you can. We usually record on Sundays, so if you get it to us by like Sunday afternoon, we'll be able to feature it here on the podcast. So just we want to hear your thoughts on these 2 games and all that. So yeah. All right, y'all. As usual, thank you so much for listening or watching the podcast if you choose to watch it. You'll hear us or watch us next week here on State of the Republic podcast.
Cue the music and please get better, Luis. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my voice, thankfully, it lasted all the podcast, but now I gotta take a break from talking.